welcome to part two. Now that we have all the sewing pattern drafted, the fabric are cut, and everything is ready, now we are going to start sewing and putting every piece of this fabric together. And I know you will fall in love with how beautiful everything is going to come up because I know you will do a very, very good job. And please, please, please don't forget to share your creations and don't forget to tag me at it's gabriela.fasola. Here is my Instagram, and like, follow, and subscribing to this channel will help me continue making videos for free so you can guys make cute and also affordable clothes for all your family, for your kids, nieces, and why not for selling it. And you will find all the materials and everything I use in this video and in all my YouTube videos down below. And also I will link all the festive fabric recommendation that I think they will work amazing for this kind of project. And now let the party begin. We'll begin by preparing the sleeves. Take your main fabric and your lining fabric, place them right side together, pin them, and sew around the curved edge. Once that's sewn, clip small notches all along the curve. This will help the fabric lay nice and flat when you turn it right side out. Then sew an understitch close to the seam of the lining side. This keeps the lining rolled to the inside so none of it is visible from the front, giving your sleeve a beautiful and professional look. Next, fold the sleeve in half, matching the seams, and sew the underarm seam. Press the seams open, then secure it with a pin while you prepare the gathers. Sew 2 rows of gathering stitches around the sleeve cup and gently pull the threads until you achieve the fullness shown here. Your sleeve should look now like this. Now let's move to the bodies. Just like the sleeves, you will be working with both the main fabric and the lining. Think of sewing 2 bodies at the same time. Start by sewing all 4 shoulder seams, 2 for the main fabric and 2 for the lining. Next, place the main bodies on the lining right side together, matching the shoulder seams carefully, and pin all the way around the neckline including the V-back, making sure everything lines up perfectly. Then clip the curves and the point of the V. This is a very important step because it allows the neckline to turn smoothly, and just like we did to the sleeves, sew an understitch close to the neckline seam to keep the lining from rolling to the outside. Give everything a really good press and you already start to see the dress taking shape. Now let's sew the side seams. Lay the bodies out exactly as shown and sew the side seams of the main fabric separately from the lining. Don't accidentally sew the main fabric to the lining. You should end up with 4 side seams in total. it's time to attach the sleeves. Since I wanted all the seams inside this dress to be completely enclosed, I'm using the burrito method. If you have a serger or an overlock to a quicker finish, you can absolutely attach the sleeves the traditional way and finish the seams with your overlock. But to use the burrito method, first attach the sleeve only to the main fabric, leaving the lining free for now. Pin the sleeves all around the armhole, matching the shoulder snatch and underarm seams, then sew it in place. At this point, the front will look finished, while the lining is still hanging free on the inside. Now comes the fun part. Roll the sleeve inward, almost like you are making a little burrito. Then bring the lining over the sleeve, placing the lining and the main fabric right side together, carefully matching the armhole seams. Take your time with this step. If you are new to this technique, I highly recommend basting everything before sewing. You can even practice on a scrap piece of fabric if you would like. It may feel a little confusing at the first time, but once you turn it right side out, it all makes sense. Sew all the way around the armhole, gently pulling the roll sleeve through as you sew. Once you turn everything right side out, you will have a beautiful enclosed armhole with no visible seams inside the dress. Repeat the same process for the second sleeve, and I like to use the sleeve ironing ham to give the armhole one final press. It really helps creating a smooth and a nice look. Now that your bodice is complete, let's move into the skirt. Remember, we cut two half circle skirt pieces to create one full circle skirt. One of those skirt pieces should be cut down the center because that will become the center back where we will have to install our zipper. The uncut half circle will be the front of the dress, while the slit half circle will become the back. We will start by sewing the side seams to join the front and the back of the skirt pieces. For a clean finish, I'm using French seams. Place the wrong side together, sew about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Trim the seams if needed, press it to one side, then fold the fabric right side together and sew about 1/4 inches to enclose the raw edges completely. This is what your finished French seam should look like. Now let's gather the top edges of the skirt. Unfortunately, my camera battery died, and while I was filming this part, all I did was sew 3 rows of gathering stitches around the waist of the skirt. Please pay attention to that. If you are using a delicate fabric like Mikado or satin, I recommend sewing only 2 rows of gathering stitches to avoid leaving visible needle holes. Since I'm using cotton, which is much more forgiving, I prefer using 2 rows as they give me better control to create more even gathers. Now match the seam sides of the skirt with the side seams of the bodice. Also match the center front of the skirt with the front center of the bodice. Adjust the gathering until they evenly distributed all the way around. And one important thing to remember, attach the skirt only to the main bodice, leaving the lining free because we will use it to cover the waist seam later. Once everything is pinned evenly, sew the skirt to the bodice, then remove the gathering stitches. And now it's time to install the invisible zipper. This is my favorite method because it helps everything line up perfectly. Start by placing one side of the zipper right side together with the center back edges of the fabric and pin it. For attaching the second side, close the zipper and carefully mark the waist seam so both sides of the zipper will match perfectly once it's closed. You can use either a fabric marker or a pin. Open the zipper again, pin the second size, and double check your alignment by closing the zipper before sewing. And to install the zipper, I like to start with my zipper foot. And then I will switch to a invisible zipper foot to make sure that everything stays in place. Check that the waist seams lines up perfectly, then sew the remaining center back seam starting exactly where the zipper stitching ends and continue all the way to the hem. And now fold the lining over the zipper tape for a clean finish to the inside. And now to finish the center back seam allowance, you can absolutely finish this with an overlock, but today I'm using the bound seams. Take a strip of bias binding and place it right side together with the raw edges of the seam allowance. Sew it in place, wrap the binding around the raw edges and fold it over to the back. Stitch again to completely insert the seams and repeat the same process for the other seam allowance. Now it's time to finish the hem. This is my favorite hemming technique because it creates such a beautiful finish on curved hems. I'm using a 2 inches wide bias binding that I made myself, but store-bought bias tape works just as well. Place the right side together of the binding against the right sides of the skirt and pin it all around the hem. As you sew, gently stretch the bias binding, not the skirt, just enough to help to ease around the curve. You don't need to pull very much, just a light, even tension is enough. Once you've sewn the binding all the way around, you can understitch if you'd like it, but that's completely optional. Next, fold the binding over the inside of the skirt, fold the raw edge under by about 1/4 inch, press it well, pin everything in place before sewing, and then sew all the way around the hem to secure it. that's it. This is what your finished hem should look like. A beautiful finished hem may seem like a small detail, but it makes such a big difference. It's one of those finishing touches that makes a handmade garment polished and professional look. And now for our very last step, we're going to close the waist seam by hand. Fold the lining over the waist seam allowance, tuck the raw edges under, and sew it in place by hand. This completely encloses the seam, leaving the inside of the dress just as beautiful as the outside. For my ribbon, I cut a piece that was 40 inches long and 6 inches wide. But if you have enough fabric, I actually recommend making 60 inches long for a fuller, more nicer bow. I simply ran out of fabric, so I had to make mine a little bit shorter. So on the ribbon, torn it right side out, press it well, and then attach to the center front of the dress. And to secure the bow, I sew two short rows of stitches, each about 2 inches long. The first row is sewn directly on the waistband seam, and the second row is about 1 inches above it. This keeps the bow securely in place while hiding the stitches. I know this project takes a little more time than a simple dress, but I truly believe the extra finishing techniques are worth it. And of course, if you prefer a quicker method, you can absolutely finish the seams with an overlock, a serger instead. It will save you time and still give you a beautiful dress. I just wanted to show you another option that gives your garment a couture inspired finishes, especially if you're sewing for a dress for a special occasion. I really hope this tutorial is easy to follow and that you enjoy sewing along with me. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. I'm always happy to help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!